Welcome back to Mock the Mock, where we take someone else's mock draft and I give you my opinions on it. It's very simple concept. This isn't my mock draft. I don't condone these opinions, but I do support good football discourse, and that's what we're gonna have today. You can see I got basically leaned against a chalkboard, man. I gotta throw this sucker in the wash. But Daniel Jeremiah himself, dude, he went ahead, he posted a mock draft, so we're going to go over that today because I love Daniel Jeremiah. You know, I don't agree necessarily with everything he says, but I do like Daniel Jeremiah. He has a lot of great football insight in general, so go ahead, we'll go through that. What's crack-a-lackin'? It's your boy Broshmo, just in case you did not know, so go ahead, become a bro and subscribe. Leave a thumbs up if you enjoy the content, and leave a comment. It really helps the video out a ton, and it would mean the world to me if you did that, so I do appreciate that. Let's go ahead, let's dive in. Bam, Daniel Jeremiah himself. Look at that, the man, the myth, the legend, dude. And Jacksonville Jaguars, he's going with Trevor Lawrence. Here, let me actually, I'm gonna make this a little bigger for you guys. Bam. He's going with Trevor Lawrence. Again, it's a consensus pick. I get it. I understand. I think everyone's going to have that there. Some people might want to do fancy stuff like, oh, what if they trade for Deshaun Watson? It's probably not going to happen. And the New York Jets, they're going with Zach Wilson. And I'm all for this. I totally agree. Some people are in the Sam Darnold boat. A lot of the press coming out of New York right now is that they want to stick with Sam Darnold. But again, I mean, I don't think you're really going to hear negative things unless you're the Dolphins, who apparently hate Tua. Take that with a grain of salt. I think it's just wiser financially. While, yes, man, Darnold has flashed a bit here and there. I mean, very so often. I'd rather take the rookie contract and then build around that than Sam Darnold coming out, having a good season, and then maybe giving him the fifth-year option or giving him a full extension and then him potentially just crap in the bed. I'd rather just take the rookie deal, build around. That's just my take on it. The Miami Dolphins going with Jamar Chase. I'm totally cool with that. My top option here is Dolphins trade out of this pick, trade down, acquire more picks. Very Bill Belichickian of Brian Flores if you can do that, but it's tough to trade out of the top 5. So, and it's a mock draft, so he's gonna make his pick. And honestly, Jamar Chase would be my pick here. Penei Sewell, again, close second, but the Dolphins, they need playmakers. They spent a lot on the offensive line last season. If they do want to get an immediate impact on the offensive line, Sewell would be a great option, but they could do that in free agency. And it's a good draft in terms of tackles. So I'm going to take Chase. He's, again, my top guy without a shadow of doubt. This is where things get interesting. He has Trey Lance going to the Falcons. Interesting that he goes over Fields. And he says it comes down to Fields or Lance. I don't think it's that close. I think you have Trevor Lawrence, your top tier. Then you have Zach Wilson and Justin Fields. And then you have Trey Lance. And then the rest of the draft. Very interesting. I get it. You grab a guy with very Josh Allen-esque tools. And you develop him behind Matt Ryan, who you could stick with for another year or two. Who's 36, keep in mind. I think it's smart for the Falcons to take a quarterback with this pick. How do you think the Falcons are going to be picking in the top 5 again next year or the year after that? I don't think so. And even if they were next year, I think the top 3 quarterbacks in this class probably are likely potentially better than anything that the 2022 class has to offer. So I'd rather go with a Fields here. Lance, interesting. Keeps getting interesting. Cincinnati Bengals go with Rashawn Slater over Penei Sewell. Totally disagree, man. I know a lot of people are very high on Rashawn Slater. I am high on Slater as well. I think he's probably my number 3 tackle at this point. But over Penei Sewell, I think is just ridiculous. Flat out, that's my opinion on it. I think that's ridiculous. Slater, he has great technique, good athleticism, man. But he does have the height disadvantage. He has the short arm that lead people to think, yeah, he can maybe play guard. He could play center. He's never done that at the collegiate level. You're projecting that. If you say he can, it's a projection. We haven't seen it on tape yet. Just saying. So again, and you're picking a guard. Like, do you think this guy's gonna be the next Quentin Wilson if he plays guard? Like, why are you picking him at 5? I'd rather go with Sewell here if I'm the Bengals. Then the Philadelphia Eagles, they're going Patrick Surtain. I don't mind this one so much. I mean, I think I'd be more tempted with Waddle or Devontae Smith. And then even then, I have Caleb Farley above Surtain, but they're very close. So, to each their own. I'm not in love with it. The secondary does need addressed in a big way. And if you view Micah Parsons more as an edge rather than a linebacker, then yes, I could see them going with maybe a Surtain or a Farley here. But I think I might still gravitate towards the receiver at this point in my evaluation. But again, I don't disagree too much. The Detroit Lions with Fields still on the board and potentially Stafford on the move. I don't think he will move though. They decide to go with Devontae Smith. I agree, man. If they decide not to franchise Kenny Galladay, their other two, Danny Amendola and Matt Jones. Matt Jones? I think that's right. Oh, hold on. Roy receivers. Am I getting that wrong? Marvin Jones. Oh my gosh, dude. I got Mac Jones on the brain and I said Matt Jones. Oh, my apologies. But, okay, so you got Marvin Jones, you got Danny Amendola as free agents, along with Kenny Galladay. If they don't bring Galladay back, you will need to address this, whether it's in free agency or in the draft. Likely, they were going to have to address it multiple times in the draft. Maybe they're high on Quatiz, Cephas, their other receiver, the rookie out of Wisconsin, undrafted free agent that they had last season, which, he flashed a bit at the beginning of the year when Galladay was out, but for the most part, he just seems like a contested catch guy. But yeah, I'm totally cool with this pick. Yeah, we're gonna go to the Carolina Panthers. Justin Fields, grab him if he's there. Grab him. Yes, I agree with this pick. Then the Denver Broncos, which I'd be tempted to grab Sewell here. Honestly, the minute Sewell goes by 5, I'd be tempted with every pick to grab Penei Sewell. If he's fallen, I'm jumping on that. He's like my 4th top guy on the board. Just because the other 3 are quarterbacks. Quarterback's such a valuable position, so it's going to hold more value. But Farley, I think either Surtain or Farley, they're both fine in a Vic Fangio defense, I think he mentions that here. Both come from screen-heavy defenses there in Bama and Virginia Tech, with Farley having, obviously, the better athletic upside. So, yeah, I'm okay with this. So tempting here, too, though. Dallas Cowboys get Penei Sewell, and you know what? Cowboys, yes. You could start him off at guard until Tyron Smith decides he wants to hang up the cleats, and then you could put him at left tackle, or you could just say screw it and put him at left tackle. This is a great pick. I just don't see him falling this far, though. And the New York Giants going Jalen Waddle. I like this a lot, too. I think the Giants are in a very good position in this draft to basically take whoever falls to them. And I think they're just going to get a quality prospect. Micah Parsons is definitely intriguing here, but I do like, hey, Daniel Jones, if we're gonna give him a fair shot, let's get him some weapons outside of Darius Slayton. You need more than one receiver, and you could say Sterling Shepard and Golden Tate, but though that ain't stopping me from drafting a receiver. I'll just say that. The San Francisco 49ers go with Kyle Pitts. Can you imagine Kyle Pitts, George Kittle, Deebo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk? Let's go with Ayuk. Yeah, phenomenal, dude. That's insane. I mean, it's great value here. Kwity Paye, Micah Parsons would be tempting. I don't mind the Kyle Pitts pick here, though. And then Elijah Vera Tucker going to the Chargers. I would still have Darrisaw over Vera Tucker. I think Christian Darrisaw, I mean, he has the size and the athletic ability that the NFL really covets. He put up 2 consecutive, very consistent seasons at Virginia Tech and then just put out a banger of a year this year. So I find it hard to believe that they would go with Vera Tucker, who likely projects to guard. I think they really need to address that left tackle issue, and I think Darrisaw would probably be a bit better. Parsons honestly would be very intriguing here. So yeah, Parsons, man, he's fallen. Then we got Minnesota Vikings, dude. They go Gregory Rousseau being the first edge off the board and ahead of Micah Parsons. I know that is a popular mock for the Vikings to get Rousseau just because he seems like a Mike Zimmer development type of guy, but I don't think you pick him over Kwity Paye. I don't think you pick him over Micah Parsons. I don't think you pick him over Christian Darrisaw, honestly. Yeah, that's just my take on it. New England Patriots, so they make out like bandits and they get Micah Parsons. I just don't see this happening. I don't think it's realistic, but then again, it's the draft. Crazy things happen. That's just how the draft is. So Micah Parsons goes to the Patriots. The Arizona Cardinals make out like bandits. Not really though. I don't know, man. Jalen Phillips here is very intriguing. I get that Chandler Jones, he's up there in dog years, but Phillips has a lot of concerns in terms of his dominance came in the second half of the season, and we haven't really seen a large portion of that. So now you have a sample size issue. Then the concussions that led him to early retirement at UCLA are a concern. I don't see that, especially with like Kwity Paye. He doesn't have those concerns. I'd rather him here. JC Horn honestly is kind of a scheme fit here too. Then we go to the Las Vegas Raiders. They go Jeremiah Owusu-Komora. Intriguing. I'd rather, just because of Gus Bradley's MO as a defensive coordinator, that he likes to have guys that he typically just has a 4-man rush. He does that over 80% of the time. So I would bring in guys that can get to the quarterback, because Max Crosby, I know people love Max Crosby. He gets adequate pressure, but you need someone a bit more dominant. Cleveland Farrell, he don't do much of that either. I'm just gonna say it right now, man. He's Solomon Thomas, but a bit better. He gets a lot of his pressure actually came when he kicked into the interior on third downs. Take that as you may. I'd rather go with Kwity Paye here. The Miami Dolphins go Christian Darrisaw, so they continue to address offense. Kwity Paye would be very intriguing here. But you know what, Darrisaw, man, good pick. So they can move him to, honestly, they could really put Jackson on the right. They could keep him at left, put Darrisaw on the right. You could kick Robert Hunt into guard. So I'm totally cool with that. The Washington football team go Kadarius Toney, dude, over Rashad Bateman. I don't mind, man. This Toney is a guy, honestly, he creates great space underneath, which will be great for Alex Smith, or if they go with their boy Heineke, great name, by the way, ODU, man. That's from around my neck in the woods back in the day, of course. But as far as this guy, man, he's not a polished route runner, but again, he creates a lot of space underneath. Like, okay, he's a very good route runner. He doesn't run a lot of different routes, though. There we go. That's probably a better way to put it. But this guy with the ball in his hands, his type of balance after and during contact is top notch, and that's why he's going to get a lot of first round looks. And then the Chicago Bears go with Jalen Mayfield. You know how, if you're not new to the channel, you know how I feel about Mayfield. Some people think I'm beating a dead horse here. I'm not high on Mayfield. That's the bottom line. The Bears could go this way. They could go Mac Jones, honestly. They could go receiver. Rashad Bateman's on the board. It's likely that Allen Robinson's not coming back, so there is that as well. Then 21, the Indianapolis Colts get Kwity Paye. Yeah, this is great value. If they could get him here, great value. I don't think he goes here. Like, I don't think he's on the board. When you're sitting here, a lot of people would be like, oh no, we need to get an offensive tackle for Anthony Costanzo. Address that in free agency. Get a replacement in free agency, man. You're not going to find an immediate impact starter likely through the draft. Typically, those guys take a bit of time to develop. If you're looking for immediate impact, then shoot, man. Just get one in free agency. Kwity Paye, though, I think this is great value here. I don't see him falling this far, though. And then we have the Tennessee Titans getting J.C. Horn. Honestly, I don't think corner's the problem in Tennessee, and I think most of y'all will agree it's pass rush. Them grabbing a corner when they just grabbed, like, honestly, Christian Fulton, I know he didn't look great this year, but keep in mind, he got hurt. We didn't see a large sample size from him. Defenses, the shortened offseason really hurt them. I think these rookies will be a lot better in year 2. They will take that leap. I think Christian Fulton is a prime candidate to do that if they bring back guys like Desmond Keene to play in the slot, or they still have our boy out of Iowa that they just drafted a year ago. Was it Amani Hooker? I think that could be a very competent slot player. But Butler, he's been good enough on the outside. Or Dory Jackson, I think he still got a year with the team, and he's fine if he could stay healthy. He is actually a very underrated corner in his own right. They need help rushing the passer. Case closed. Then the New York Jets go Travis Etienne. I mean, yeah, it's fun. It's a fun idea, but they could go I'd rather them go Rashad Bateman here. I'd rather them maybe go take one of these really toolsy edge rushers rather than taking a running back. I think running back for teams, it should be seen, if you're drafting a running back in the first round, it should be seen more as, hey, we have the luxury to make a pick like this, rather than, oh man, yeah, we got holes, we got other, spots on the roster that are a bit more valuable and probably need to be addressed with some youth and some depth. But nah, screw that. Let's get a playmaker. I love Travis Etienne, don't get me wrong, I love him, but I think the Jets have bigger concerns. And then the Pittsburgh Steelers, Mac Jones, I think, be interesting here. I think they're more in the Sam Darnold, maybe even Carson Wentz if he's available. I think they're going to be looking more towards that than maybe a rookie quarterback. So Tevin Jenkins, a guy, he was rising up boards a lot over kind of like in around October. He's played predominantly right tackle there at Oklahoma State, but man, the guy plays with a nastiness. He's a very quality run and pass protector. Probably the biggest thing I'd say, he lunges a bit too much when he gets to the second level, takes himself out of plays. I don't think he really needs to do that, but the guy is quality, and I think it'd be a good pick. He kind of really fits the mentality that the Steelers like in the trenches in general. So, you know what? I think that's quality. I think Jenkins will rise up a few boards. I mean, I still got guys like Leatherwood and Cosme ahead of him, but I'm totally cool with Jenkins. He's very close. The Jacksonville Jaguars go Trevon Moehrig. I think this is very interesting. I like this pick. I think Moehrig has a chance to sneak into the first round out of all the safeties in this class. I think there's a lot of quality safeties in this class that we'll see jump off the board in day 2. Only Moehrig, I think, has a chance to be a first rounder. They could go other routes because free agency, they actually have a grip of good safeties in free agency from Anthony Harris, Justin Simmons. They could go that route. I like Moehrig, though, a ton. I like it with this pick as well. Then not Chicago, Cleveland Browns. They're going Zaven Collins. I'm not going to lie. I kind of like Nick Bolton as a better fit here. I think between JOK, Zaven Collins, and Nick Bolton, it's really going to be what does that defense prefer. I think all those guys are neck and neck, and it's really and they offer vastly different things and different skill sets. It's really going to be what are they looking for in terms of their linebacker. And I think Bolton maybe fit more of the mold of what they want to look for than Collins, but Collins is a phenomenal pick. Then the Baltimore Ravens, Azeez Ojulari. I love this pick because he reminds me a lot of Yannick Ngakoue. Guy's a phenomenal pass rusher. For me, he has it. He has one of the nastiest bends around the edge in this class. I think I have him often mocked around where the Raiders pick. To me, he's number 3 on my board when it comes to pass rushers. I like him a ton. I like him a lot. A lot of people probably be worried about the size. I think he'll grow a bit more into that, but you're drafting him for that pass rush ability, and I think it's just special. You turn on the tape, and I just see special. And then the New Orleans Saints, they're going to go with Nick Bolton. I think this is fine. Eventual replacement for Demario Davis. He's a bit different from what they have in Zach Bond, who I assume they're hoping takes the next step next season and becomes maybe a starter, especially with outside of Demario Davis. I think most of their linebacker core are free agents. But Nick Bolton's phenomenal, man. He's just got great instincts, especially in coverage. He's one of my favorite prospects in this class. Tampa Bay Buccaneers go Joe Tryon out of Washington. This is a bit interesting because I got a 4th round grade, fringe, late 3rd round grade on Tryon. I really think he needed to play this season for Washington because I think he's very raw as a prospect. I think this is a guy that you're going to have to develop. Like, he's not further along than many of the other edge rushers in this class. And that's not saying much because I think a lot of this edge class is indeed raw. But Joe Tryon, tremendous athlete, man, but you see it in his 2019 tape. He overruns a lot of plays. He struggles he struggles in the run game. And just his overall processing, he's often late in terms of when, like, especially you see it again. I'm going to bring up the run game. He's late in terms of when it comes to getting to the ball carrier because he's just not there yet. This guy is a developmental prospect. I think Tampa Bay, they're probably going to be looking for more guys that can make immediate impacts with Brady having one more year on his deal. And I know people will be like, he's playing till 50. Well, you don't know if he's going to be doing that in Tampa. He's only signed for one more year. So, again, that's my take on him. And then this one was interesting too, man. The Bills going Aaron Robinson out of Central Florida. This guy predominantly played slot for Central Florida. He's a former Alabama transfer. He was very phenomenal in the run game, which was a big question mark. Like, he needed to prove in this area if he was going to stick in the slot. But I don't think you're grabbing a slot corner here, especially with other guys on the board like Sonny Samuel or Tyson Campbell, Eric Stokes. Those are just guys I have higher on my board than Robinson. And then the Green Bay Packers, no Rashad Bateman. Where the heck is Bateman? They get Tutu Atwell, who might be just a very high-tier gadget guy, if we're being honest. It makes no sense. I think Amon-Ra St. Brown is a much better fit here. I like Rashad Bateman. He's the 4th receiver on my board. Kadarius Toney, who already went, admittedly, earlier in this draft, is basically I would say a more refined version of Atwell. It's just, it makes no sense. I have a day 2 pick on him just because you can do a lot of big things with Atwell. It's just, this is a guy that really ran no real routes at Louisville. They played a very gimmicky RPO type scheme there, man. It was very gimmicky, and how he was used was very gimmicky. He doesn't have a big route tree. You could probably hold all the routes he ran there at Louisville in the palm of your hand, maybe on 2 fingers. I'm surprised. And then the Kansas City Chiefs, they go Levi Onwuzurike, which was a bit interesting because I got Christian Barmore as my top defensive interior. Onwuzurike is very interesting. I really wish he played this season. I love him athletically, phenomenal. If he puts out a banger of a Senior Bowl, he will. He's a day 2 guy, but I think he could definitely get into that fringe 1st round. Currently, really, the only other guys I have in front of him are like Liam McNeil at NC State. And I'm also real high on the USC cat, Marlon Tuipulotu. So interested, but I understand. I think this is definitely something that can maybe happen, especially after the Senior Bowl this week. But overall, very interesting. No Alex Leatherwood, which he is falling in a lot of drafts. Samuel Cosme, though, a bit of a surprise. Just Rashawn Slater going at 5 over Penny, so I think is outlandish. Tutu Atwell, Aaron Robinson, Joe Tryon. Guys, I just have like 3rd, 4th round grades on in this draft. Surprises me a bit. The whole Micah Parsons at 15 just blows my mind. No Rashad Bateman. Where's the Bateman love? Is he like, honestly, Bateman could fall though if you think about it, because Tyler Johnson had this same issue, and I think Bateman's a much better prospect than Johnson, but I was a big fan of Johnson going into the draft, and he fell. So maybe that might be something. That might be that might be something to watch, man. Rashad Bateman realistically could fall in this draft. It might be a stigma he has on him, just coming from Minnesota. And again, I mean, you look back in 2019, it was like, okay, why was Tyler Johnson the focal point of that offense? Because their focal point of the offense, they put their best receiver in the slot. So why was it Johnson and not Bateman? And it's like, well, I mean, Bateman was clearly the better receiver in 2019. So Tevin Jenkins, I don't mind. Again, that's a guy, it's a very good tackle class. A lot of these guys are very close. Y'all already know how I feel about running backs in the 1st round. JC Horn of the tight end, really need pass rush. Quiddy Pay's fall. Gregory Russo being the top edge. Let me know what y'all think about this, man, because I think there were a lot of hot takes in this draft. But that's it for the video. Go ahead, do that YouTube thing. As always, until next time, you be easy, my friends. Later.